Fala aí pessoal, tudo beleza? Nando na área, e dessa vez eu estou de volta depois de praticamente quase uns 2 meses sem postar vídeo, né? E eu queria trazer aqui o jogo The Stanley Parable, que é o jogo mais doido que eu já ouvi falar, velho. Eu sempre tive vontade de jogar esse jogo, então vamos lá, iniciar jogo. Agora vem o loading, que é meio demorado. Vamos lá. Por mais incrível que pareça, hoje tá rápido o loading. Vamos lá, loading.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-winning, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Ok, acho que agora já temos o controle. Parece que não se pula. E a porta fechou. E não dá pra abrir de novo.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Olha, tem um PC aqui com o Windows 10, o novo Windows da Microsoft. E agora está desligado. Ok, vamos obedecer o narrador e ver até a sala. Sem ninguém. Outro PC com Facebook ativo. Alguém tá vendo Facebook, hein? Vai levar uma demissão na cara. Vamos ver. Como vocês podem ver, esse quadro mostra a situação econômica política regional da Islândia. Brincadeira. Dá pra abrir aqui? Não, não dá. Também não dá pra abrir aqui.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ok. Vou obedecer o que você está falando, gentil voz do além. E aqui tem um quadro de Jesus. Tô meio retardado hoje.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Ok, vamos ao escritório do chefão. Aqui, como vocês podem ver, tem a lei da teoria da relatividade de Einstein. Cara, eu tô muito retardado hoje. Broom closet. Hello?
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Ok.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Eu vou continuar a lhe obedecer, estranha voz do além. Eu queria usar o banheiro, mas ele tá trancado. Isso aqui tá aberto? Não tá aberto.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Esse é o escritório do nosso chefe. E aquilo lá embaixo era onde a gente trabalhava. Rapaz, as condições trabalhistas hoje em dia estão foda. Qual era a porra do código?
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Engraçado, eu queria saber porque o chefe da gente tem uma passagem ultra secreta. Mas ok, continuando. Isso aqui é um botão? É um botão. E agora eu estou descendo nesse terrível elevador sombrio e macabro.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Tá bom, esse corredor tá muito sombrio mesmo. Só espero que não apareça.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Se a luz está ligada, ligue 914. Ok. Fábrica. Não, é complexo de controle da mente. Saída. Escapar. Olha, aquilo ali é um corredor sinistro com uma pequena névoa. Não vou entrar aí nem fudendo. Fechou a porta. Tem uma passagem aqui. E um botão aqui.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Meu Deus, isso só pode significar uma coisa. Eu encontrei o arquiteto do filme Matrix. Quem não entendeu o que eu falei agora vai ver o filme Matrix. O 1 e o 2, tá? O 3 é uma bosta. Mesas, o que temos aqui? O que acontece se eu apertar esse botão?
Now the
Eu não fiz nada, eu juro.
to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Ok. Muitos monitores. Tem um cabo aqui. Ele não faz nada. Vamos apertar esse botão aqui e ver o que acontece.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Ok.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Ok.
But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Ok, tá tudo offline aqui. Será que eu posso deixar tudo on? Não, o que temos aqui? Nada. Fábrica de... Tem um botão ali. Eu não vou apertar aquilo não. Eu vou obedecer o que ele mandou fazer. Tem um botão aqui. Uhul! Esperando o input. O que quer dizer input? Eu não lembro.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Mamãe mandou eu escolher esse daqui. Mas como eu sou teimoso, vou escolher esse daqui. Epa. Eu deveria obedecer mais minha mãe. Que porra fiz aqui?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
O que eu faço?
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Eu tô com medo de passar aí. Vai que aparece algum bicho e me engole. Tá ok, mas isso tá muito estranho. Eu acabei de desligar a força e agora apareceu um lugar que eu não faço a mínima ideia de onde seja. Piso ou não piso? Piso ou não piso? Piso ou não piso? Eu piso.
Stanley
Okay.
felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Ok. Muito viajado. Eu ouvi dizer que esse jogo tem uma caralhada de finais, então eu vou ver, né? Ok. Vamos ver o que tem depois dessa tela de loading. Por mais incrível que pareça, o loading tá rápido hoje, hein? Hã? Ah, comecei o jogo de novo. Legal.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Ok, começou o jogo de novo. Isso tava aqui? Mas galerinha, eu vou ficando por aqui. Se você gostou de ver esse jogo altamente noia, vou dar uma salvadinha aqui. Não tem nenhum jogo salvo aqui. Se você gostou de ver esse jogo noia, deixe um gostei aí. Se você gostou mais ainda, peço que adicione aos favoritos. E se puder, se inscreva no canal se você é novato. Valeu aí, falou e fui. E até o próximo vídeo.